Are we on? The on-air sign's not on. Okay, good morning. It is September 2nd at the Economic Development, Historic Preservation, and Environmental Conservation Committee. And we can start off with a roll call.
So we have Matt Yetto, town engineer, Kevin Walsh, planning chairman, and Chairman Delarada.
Very good. And do we have any comments from the public this morning?
I did not receive any.
Okay, and we'll hold off on the minutes and go to resolutions.
So the first resolution is a carryover from last month. It's accepting the $5,000 grant award from NYSERDA. We were originally thinking an EV vehicle, but we actually have some LED lights that we need to buy. And that's a very normal, reasonable, acceptable way to spend that grant money. They really encourage LED lighting. So I think we're going to use that. And so I got a quote from the highway department yesterday, I think, with the total that I will submit to NYSERDA. And so that should be ready for the end of the month.
Excellent.
The second one is a resolution appointing members to the Historic Preservation Committee. I think we are putting out a email blast today or maybe early next week asking for membership applications to both the Historic Preservation Committee and some certain other committees. So we're hopeful that we'll have enough names and that both the Historic Preservation Committee and possibly some other appointments will come. So see a resolution appointing members to certain committees. I don't know what people will submit for, but like if we get a CAC member, we get somebody, potentially we'd have a couple appointments on there.
Certainly. We'll keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah. And then the last one, D, is a resolution accepting bids for critical pedestrian connections grants and bonding. That's, we've talked about this a couple of times. We combined the crosswalk at St. Joseph, the sidewalk on Knott Street, the sidewalk on Plum Street, and there's one other thing. Oh, and the crosswalk on Upper Union Street into a single bid, which went out, I believe, yesterday. And there's a kind of a funding matrix for that because it's two grants and one bonding. And it's going to be hard because the construction costs have just skyrocketed since we originally were awarded those grants. But we're trying to make it like kind of a mix and match so we can see what our funding is and then pick the stuff that we can fund. So hopefully we will be able to award something at the end of the month on that.
Okay, very well.
Sorry, Jamie. We couldn't get into the computer upstairs. Yeah, so we had to move down here.
Good morning, Supervisor.
Sorry, I was reviewing the garden updates.
Did you get your hands dirty?
No.
All right.
Not
All right. And Mr. Walsh, do we have any updates on planning board activities?
Is microphone working? Can't tell. I'll give you some high-level updates. Have any questions? Laura and I can get into details if you'd like. Some recent actions. The Hillside Village Apartments applied for a waiver for signage. They had a couple signs that exceeded the 4 square foot requirement. The planning board.
Switch microphones, Kevin.
Hmm?
It doesn't.
seem like.
Mm-mm.
Let me try this one. Hello? Yeah, there we go. That was on. Let me start over again. So Hillside Village Apartments applied for waivers for signage. 2 of their signs exceeded the 4 square foot requirement. We took action at the last planning board meeting. That was actually denied by the board. So I believe they'll either have to go to ZBA or come into compliance with their signs is the only options that applicant has. Chase Bank was approved. That's the ATM at ShopRite Plaza. And Capital Kids Care that the town board issued a special use permit for I guess maybe last month, that was approved. So they're all set to proceed. Things that we're working on in progress, Rivers Ledge, a 66 unit senior apartment in the outbuilding. The ZBA grant their area variance, so they're off probably doing some engineering design. So we'll expect to see them back once they get some more details on their design. I did take a ride through there the other day. It looks pretty good down there. I mean, it's looking real good, that site. We had a public hearing for a minor 2-lot subdivision on 2239 Van Antwerp Road. That's right out here. There was no residents that wanted to be heard at that public hearing. We'll move forward with that subdivision process. There's also a subdivision application for Empire Drive. There's a stub road off of Empire Drive. It's a pretty good sized lot. It's a 2-lot minor subdivision. There was some resident concern at that meeting for that one. Especially, they didn't understand that it would be developed in the future, and they were told by their builder that was probably forever wild, but there is a stub road there. We didn't want to have that piece of property landlocked a long time ago. So more to follow on that. It's a work in progress. Union Street, the Rosada gas station, they did get their area variance, so they're off doing their design work also. So they'll be doing an addition, and we're going to try to hold them accountable to cleaning up that site as part of their expansion over there. And of course, not Street, the Broken Inn is on our agenda. We're moving forward with the outdoor dining. This right now they got the temporary for the ice cream, but they're looking at the outdoor dining where they'll actually have table service, so on and so forth. So there's some designs out there that we're reviewing. That is going to require an update from the town board for an updated special use permit once we get further down the process. So I think we might be calling for a public hearing at our next meeting on that. And then, of course, the town board will have to have a public hearing. So those are the active things. New projects, Five Below over here on Mohawk Commons signage, not Street East. There's going to be a tenant change over here at ShopRite Plaza, the old Smash Burger, and I believe
Tai
Mike, was it Mike?
Tai Bistro.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're going to be converted to an Asian barbecue. Expect probably have a resolution next meeting on that one also.
Mhm.
And Balltown Road, of course, came in the other night. That's this SI group changing over to Momentive. The representative came in the other night. It was great. That's great, all good news. And basically, it's just administrative staff at this time. So we'll have a change of tenant resolution at our next meeting for that. And they mentioned that they will be looking at moving to R&D facility here. So there will be probably a building in the future coming, but it sounds like maybe 23, probably into 24. So it's an expansion also. All right. And that's pretty much it. If anybody has any questions.
Quite a bit going on.
Yeah.
The Broken Inn, is the county still involved in that outdoor dining, or is that now all a town?
Well, it's pretty much us, but I'm sure we'll be talking to the county and to Metroplex as part of this whole situation. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, that came out very nice.
Yep.
The zoning board's got 4 cases for September. Their last meeting, I think, I had said was 7 cases, over 3 hours long, almost 4. For grants update, the Clean Energy Communities Leadership Round is what I've been working on. That's how we've got that $5,000 grant award that we talked about at the beginning of the meeting. We got a couple more things that I'm working on there. Ken went to some training that gives us some points. So I'm working towards the next award, which I believe is $15,000. And that's going well. For Complete Streets, we're meeting today and we're going to work on the planning board projects. Complete Streets had referred a couple of good easements to the planning board, which were incorporated into one round of plans. But then we'll also discuss the bike lane on Lexington and a mini roundabout demonstration project adjacent to. See if we can put that together this year or maybe spring of next year. I know they really want to do it this year, but I have to see what we can handle. Tree Council has been meeting regularly on the street tree master plan. They have a subcommittee that's been very active. They're pulling together a lot of data. And so if that plan comes together this month, I think it'll go to the Tree Council, potentially to the public, work on that a little more, and then bring it to you guys to take a look at. And then kind of the fun thing master plans are fun, but the other fun thing that they're doing is the big tree hunt of 2022. And so they're asking people to go into their yards or, public places where they know there's big trees and measure the trees 4 feet up, measure the circumference, take a picture of yourself with the tree and send us the circumference as well as the location of the tree. What we're trying to do is find the biggest trees in Niskayuna and give people awards for different categories like largest maple, largest oak, largest, so that we can see where our large trees are and hopefully inspire people to go out looking for big trees. And also if they have a big tree in their yard and it becomes the biggest tree and, Niskayuna have some bragging rights. So slow. But what it goes until I think like October. And what like Linda's idea was we've got a couple measurements already. I think we've got a 116-inch oak on Mohawk. So what we could do is email people kind of like, hey, we found a 106-inch tree on Mohawk. Like, how big are the trees in your yard? And that might spur some more people to go out there and measure. But also, these 2 weeks are really tough. Like, I think emails from town and stuff. So we'll do another push in a little while and try and get some more people out there to measure trees. Has to cool off a little.
So what's considered a big tree?
So I am used to measuring them in diameters, but it's really hard for people to do. They don't have diameter tapes like foresters do, so they're doing circumference. So, but like a circumference of like 116 is something like a 37 diameter. So like,
Yeah.
it's pretty big. It'd be pretty hard to get your arms around it, and that's on Mohawk. So, I don't even know that we've gotten any measurements from Old Niskayuna silver maples yet.
Mm,
So we know those are really big.
yes.
Yeah, so that's fun. The Conservation Advisory Council had a successful completion of the NRI. Thank you to the town board for taking a look at it at the last meeting. I think that they talked about their next step is, because the NRI is so large, is to just start kind of chunking away at it, see if they can get some more funding for another couple parcels that they can do another analysis of. And they've got a bunch of things on their agenda that are related to the planning board projects that Kevin just mentioned. The Climate Smart Communities Task Force, the Climate Smart grant's ongoing, working back and forth with DEC on getting the contract. Still have to do the compost bin day before the farmer's market ends, hopefully. And then at our staff meeting, the supervisor helped reach out to the other department heads to see if there's any potential candidates for another EV car. So we're hoping that we can identify some places where we can electrify the fleet a little more, and then that'll be another thing that we work on in conjunction with the Clean Energy Communities Leadership Round and the Climate Smart certification. Clark prepared an architectural review board presentation, but I didn't realize that we were going to be down here. I don't think I'll pull that up on my computer, but they've been working really hard. They had input on Rivers Ledge. They have been reviewing single-family homes in some of our subdivisions, and they just seem like they're starting to find their stride. So I know that he's feeling very good about the architectural review board and how they're helping people and planning board projects. Comprehensive Plan Committee had a really good meeting about 2 weeks ago. They're currently going through the old plan, taking a look at what the old plan's recommendations and actions were, seeing which ones were completed, which ones they think are potentially relevant. And then we're also reading some best management practice guides from the American Planning Association. And we're looking at surrounding communities comp plans to see, like if there's big things that we missed. I know that this year I want to make sure that we work in equity and sustainability. So we've got a lot of work that we're doing on the Comprehensive Plan Committee. So building department and enforcement, it continues to be very busy up there. I did notice that the building inspectors got the permit pile down to almost nothing the other day, which is really impressive. But then there was a big round of submittals, and it's it's back up there. So, but they were working away. And then planning department, the Console Road sidewalk, I don't have any updates on. Kelt's Farm has been consuming a large amount of the planning and building department's time to try and get that project closed out enough that it can get a building permit, another building permit. That's been an extreme amount of work, and it has also sucked in the engineering department for an inordinate amount of time. Vincenzo subdivision, still very close. Harmon Grove, very, very close to getting all their legal documents recorded. We had the package gone over to them like about a week ago, but we missed a signature, which we got from Jamie yesterday. So hopefully that'll be done within next week.
Excellent. Thank you, Laura.
And I didn't receive anything updates that Elena wanted to speak to. But Dennis did just want to let people know that the assessment of the train station's ongoing. We have more documents from Jim McKinney. So he is working away on that, and he has started the very preliminary parts of the Niskuna Grange. So working away on that. And then the board vacancy list, like I said, hopefully with that email blast,
Mm,
we'll be able to fill some of those vacancies.
very good. Well,
Wait, I had one other thing.
Yeah.
So Jim Thornton is the great bird whisperer of Blatnick Park, and he was the one that had been lobbying for the LOMO practices on the landfill cap, and he sent us a summary of the bird surveys that they had been doing at Blatnick Park, as well as recorded observations from bird enthusiasts, not professional, but still very fun. And he sent pictures of some of the birds that were in the landfill cap, and he feels that the program was very successful, and he's very happy. I put a copy of it that you guys could pass around on the table, but I have another one here.
yeah, this is great. So he's indicating that there's about 50 to 75 new birds that
Yeah.
were
Born
born
in
and
Blatnick Park.
banded.
Yeah, in
And-
the landfill cap.
And we believe that's due to the low mow. Is that all due to the low mow, or maybe some of it's due to the low mow?
No, we could check with him, but I believe that he's checking the boxes that are on the landfill cap. So
Okay,
do you know that, Matt? Yeah.
that's really impressive. That's great.
Yeah, so again, many thanks to Ray for making that work with him. I think he sent it right after the highway committee meeting, so they weren't able to talk about it at that meeting, but I did want to give him a shout out for putting this together and making sure that the town board is aware of the good things that come from working with, those things. So
Yeah, those pictures look good. It's something maybe you can consider sharing on the webpage or at the town or something. That'd be great.
yeah, maybe we could put it on the CAC website.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And hopefully during this long weekend, our residents that are still in town will be able to get out and observe some of this and hit our parks and trails and
And
waterfront.
measure their
and-
trees.
Yeah, enjoy and measure some trees, enjoy the outside. Well, thank you. Is there anything further for the good of the order? I will make a motion to adjourn.
Now, a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And we are adjourned for a long weekend. Thank you.
Thanks, John.